Hi, guys. Welcome in. Hope you're having a good day, a good Wednesday. And we are happy to be on the live with you guys today after a thrilling 5-4 Rangers victory. Man, it is good to get a win today after a tough loss yesterday. So we'll get into everything here in just a little bit with you, but we're going to give just a little bit of time for everybody to get here. We are going to go through all of the big moments of the game today. We've got a few big points. We're going to talk about some of the players of the game, and we will get into so much more. Preview the pitching matchup for tomorrow as well. Be the last game in the series. Of course, the Rangers secure at least the split today with the Tigers with their win. But tomorrow they will go for 3 out of 4. We'll see if they can get the job done. We've got, let's see, Atlanta coming up, I believe, on Friday. So it is going to be a tough next few games here, a tough next few days. Hopefully we can get the win tomorrow on the getaway day in Detroit. And then after that, go to Atlanta on a little bit of a roll and hopefully get some wins there too, 2 or 3. That would be preferable. That would be ideal. So at this point, let's just get right on into it. So, first of all, we got to talk about probably the play of the game, and that's got to go to Josh Smith. Josh Smith today got sat because Skubal, lefty, was throwing for the Tigers. Makes sense. I mean, absolutely makes sense. But comes in the ninth inning, right? Sat cold all game, comes in the ninth inning, and comes up with the hit of the day, right? A double that scores one. Pinch hit, I believe, for Wenzel, who had a tough game up to that point. Wenzel, I don't think, has gotten his first major league hit quite yet. It's got that 0 average. So Josh Smith comes in after being sat today and gets a huge pinch hit double to ultimately win the game for the Rangers. I just can't say enough good things about Josh Smith. I mean, first of all, he was a guy coming into this year that obviously was not going to be getting a lot of starting time, a lot of playing time. Josh Smith was a guy that was going to maybe do some platooning, be a utility guy, give guys some days off here and there, but by no means was he going to play a major role on this team at the onset of the season. Josh Young goes down and everything changes. And the Rangers, I think, would be in a lot of trouble without Josh Smith's production. Josh Smith right now hitting .319 with an .822 OPS, comes up with the game-winning RBI today to seal the victory for the Rangers. On base percentage is .418. You're getting a .418 on base percentage from Josh Smith. A lot of things are going to go well for you, especially when he's replacing an all-star and, in my mind, an MVP candidate in Josh Young. I think Josh Young is going to be that kind of player. I think he was already showing you some signs of that before the injury. But where would this Rangers team be without the contributions of Josh Smith? He's been hitting in the middle of the lineup pretty consistently. This isn't like a straight-up bottom-of-the-order dude. This is a guy that has been producing for you in the middle of the order for the past couple of weeks now. Again, hitting .319, OBP on base percentage over .400, and he comes up with the game-winning hit for you today. After the bullpen had kind of, I don't want to say it was a meltdown, but had just allowed the Tigers to get back into the game, right? The Rangers pushed the lead to 4-1 in the sixth inning. Things were looking pretty good. Dunning's pitch count was super high going into the sixth. They let him go out there. He promptly gave up a hit, and then the bullpen had to go to work. So the bullpen just kind of quietly let the Tigers back into the game. Josh Smith, though, gets the RBI double in the top of the ninth and seals the victory for the Rangers. So Josh Smith got to be the player of the game for me. That's not easy to do. Coming in cold, you haven't played all game, and then you've got to come in and you've got to face some of the big arms in the opposing team's bullpen, and you get a solid hit into the outfield, solid line drive to win the game. Josh Smith, player of the game in my book. Let's keep going. More of our big points today. Kirby Yates, second save opportunity, second save. Kirby Yates has really pitched extremely well this entire season. With Jose Leclerc's struggles, a door was opened, I believe, for the Rangers to kind of start going a little bit by committee. But it looks like, at least for now, Yates may be getting the save opportunities moving forward. Bochy, Maddox, I mean, I haven't been locked in on their interviews post-game, but it seems like they've been pretty hush-hush on what exactly they're doing with the closing role going forward. But I really don't know why they would be rocking the boat when Yates is pitching this well. Kirby Yates hasn't given up a run this entire season. And today, 1 1/3 innings pitched, 4 strikeouts. So what that means is every single out he got today came from the strikeout. I mean, that is extremely, extremely impressive. So we are looking at Kirby Yates, and sorry, y'all, I know I had the music going in the background. Hopefully y'all can hear me a little bit better. Kirby Yates is an outstanding player, and I think an outstanding pickup as well. You know, Kirby Yates was kind of one of those signings where you thought it was going to provide some depth for the bullpen, but you didn't realize he was going to turn into this kind of guy in the bullpen, pretty much the most reliable Rangers option at this point. I really don't know if there's anyone that I can point to that's had a better start to the season in the bullpen than Yates has. 7 looks like I think we added to this total. I'm looking at his stats right now. I think he is up to 8 2/3 innings pitched on the season, no earned runs, whip below 0.5. I mean, this guy is just having a great year. It's no surprise to me that they have him in the closing role. And, you know, of course, in the 9th inning, pretty much 1, 2, 3. It wasn't at all ever anxious moments for Kirby Yates in that 9th inning, something that Rangers fans aren't really used to from the closer position, right? With Jose Leclerc, I always joke, just refuses, absolutely allergic to a clean inning, Jose Leclerc. Now, look, in the game yesterday, he pitched 2 very, very solid innings. I was very, very happy to see Leclerc, or was it a couple nights ago, pitched 2 very solid innings. I think it was the first game of the series. So, look, maybe Leclerc is on the rise, but Yates just doesn't leave much room for the other team to do or get much going. And I love that Kirby Yates has stepped in and has continued to get wins. He got the win today for the Rangers, got the save the other day. He's now 2-0 on the season. Wasn't technically a save opportunity today because of the situation in which he came into the ball game. But Kirby Yates, an inning in a third today, 4 Ks. He's got to be up there on the pitching side of things. Player of the game for me on the pitching side. Now, let's look at the box score, and I got a couple notables. So, Seager finally gets going today. Corey Seager, 2 for 4. Said on the reel today, said on the short today that he was going to have a multi-hit game. Give a little backpack for that one. And 2 for 4 with a run scored as well. Looks like single and looks like a couple of singles. One was Oppo. One was a pretty solid drive as well. But Seager, a couple of base hits. As he goes, the Rangers typically tend to go. So it was good to see Seager on base a couple of times. Average is up to 297 now. Semien, no hits today, but was able to get on base through some different scenarios, some fielder's choices, scored a couple of runs. And let's revisit the reel that I put out last night. I talked about the 3-hole for the Rangers, and Wyatt Langford, 3-hole today, did have a walk, but goes 0 for 3. So Rangers, 3-hole hitters, Evan Carter, not including Josh Young, Evan Carter, Wyatt Langford, 12 for 65 now from the 3-hole spot combined. And there were some big moments in the game. There was an opportunity for Langford, runners on first and second, nobody out. Not really a smoked line drive, but a line drive at the shortstop. Didn't move runners over. Obviously missed out on the RBI opportunity. I still think, and am still going to continue to say, I think the Rangers, for now, need to do something different there. Look, I think you can be a fan. I don't think it's overreacting. I know that obviously there's a lot of that out there, but look, when you've got a sample size of 65 at bats between the two guys and they're hitting a buck 80, I don't think there's anything wrong with mixing it up. It doesn't seem like they're going to be doing that, and maybe continuing to have them in that 3 spot is exactly what they need to get going. I personally would like to see somebody else in that 3 spot, at least for a few games. Let's see what it does. The offense looked pretty good today. Got a big hit by Doley in the 6th inning that really broke things open. I think that this Rangers offense still isn't completely in stride right now, but I'd like to see them mix it up a little bit. Carter was hitting low today because Skubal was on a lefty. So Langford in the 3 spot. Langford hitting 254 on the year. Carter went 0 for as well today. So Langford and Carter both hitless today. Carter's hitting 200 on the season. I just think you can mix it up. I know that some people kind of raised an eyebrow at me yesterday, but I said hit Josh Smith in the 3 spot at this point. I mean, that dude is probably more locked in than I would say 95% of the hitters on this team, right? There's maybe 1 or 2 guys who you might be able to say are more locked in than Josh Smith is right now. Hit Josh Smith in the 3-hole for all I care. I mean, just get a guy in there that is consistently hitting well and has good plate presence, good plate vision. And I think Josh Smith is that guy right now. The vision is good. He's made some tweaks with the swing. I wouldn't mind seeing him hit third. I really don't care if he's not a big home run threat. I don't think Evan Carter is big home run threat. Can he hit home runs? Yes. I think Evan Carter and Josh Smith, to me, have demonstrated about the same amount of pop. Josh Smith can put one out on a good line drive. I don't see any reason why they can't move him up in the order a little bit. Jonah Heim had 2 RBIs today, solid line drive up the middle to extend the game out even more. Right, Doley had the big double that was almost a home run, and Jonah Heim comes in with the 2 RBI base hit. Jonah Heim could hit 3 spot. I still like Doley in that 4 spot, the cleanup hitter, the pop, the power. Doley sitting 304, has the highest average on the team. I guess, minus Josh Smith. Josh Smith 319. So, look, I would move Josh Smith to 3. I would move Jonah Heim to 3 just for a little bit. You don't have to do it for the rest of the season. Just do it until you really see Carter and Langford hit their stride. Carter and Langford need reps. You need to play those guys every day. A couple of people were getting confused and thinking I was saying bench them. No, don't bench Carter or Langford. Play them every day. And with Carter, play him against lefties like they did today. I was pleased to see that just because a lefty was on, they didn't put Carter on the bench. And look, I know that they have had days where he sat with a lefty. I'd just like to see Carter play every day, unless he's tired, unless he's got something going on injury-wise. Play him every day and let him get a big sample size against both lefties and righties. Carter and Langford need to play every day. Can you mess around, though, with the 3 spot and with the lineup order a little bit? Yes. I would prefer to see Evan Carter hit leadoff. I wouldn't mind at all seeing Carter, Semien, Seager. I think that would be really ideal. Carter, 3rd fastest guy in Major League Baseball, great vision at the plate, gets a lot of walks. Why wouldn't you want a guy like that at the top of your order? So I'd much rather see Carter in that 1 spot, maybe in the 2 spot. So maybe they'll mess around with the lineup order a little bit. Maybe they won't. Maybe they are just going to ride this out until Langford or Carter just catches fire, and we're just going to see those guys in the 3 spot every single game moving forward for the rest of the season. Personally, I play around with it a little bit. We'll see what they do. Now, one other thing, too, as we look at the box score, Duran really had a pretty tough game up until the 9th inning with his single, right? 3 strikeouts. He had 2 strikes on him. I thought Duran was about to go golden sombrero, but he's able to get a pretty big hit in the 9th inning. Got to give props to him. I will say they need to get Nate Lowe back ASAP. They cannot have Zeke Duran, a 5'11 dude, playing first base, right? Seager had the throwing error. I believe it was in the 7th or 8th inning, right? And it goes off Duran's glove. you need a big body at first base. At least a guy who's 6'2", preferably a guy who's 6'3", 6'4". That Seager throw to me, Seager gets the air, but it goes off Duran's glove, and Duran is just too short to be playing first base. I want a big target at first base personally. I know that with Nate Lowe out, they had to get creative, and I know that with the lefty today, they didn't want to bat Jared Walsh. That being said, having a 5'11" guy at first base is just not ideal. Nate Lowe easily catches that ball from Seager in the 7th or 8th inning, I believe it was. I'll look at my notes while I continue to go here. But, I mean, that was a pivotal error, too, at the time, right? That was, I think, a 2-out error, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, bottom of the 6th, 2-out throwing error. And again, goes off Duran's glove. You get a guy like Nate Lowe, even Jared Walsh, just guys that are at least 6'2", 6'3". You cannot have a 5'11" first baseman. I mean, you can, but I don't think it's ideal. I think you need a big target there. I think the Rangers are definitely going to get a nice boost, both offensively and defensively, when Nate Lowe gets back in the mold. So, look, Duran, big hit in the 9th inning after a tough day. And beyond that, we talked about Wenzel. Wenzel is just having a tough time. He is on the struggle bus right now, yet to get a hit in his major league career. I think personally, he's probably going to find himself heading back down after a little while when the Rangers start getting some guys back. I don't know. We'll see what they do. Maybe they're going to give him an extended look, but Wenzel has been having a tough time so far, hitting 0 on the season, no hits. I really do wish the best for him. Hope he turns it around. I feel bad for the guy. It's tough. Maybe the floodgates are going to open up once he gets that first hit, but right now, Wenzel struggling. And I know that normally probably going to be a guy like Duran playing third or Smith, but at this point, Wenzel gets the start today. It doesn't take advantage. And we've talked about this before here on previous lives. Like, you only get so many shots in the majors. Like, if you're a top prospect, you have a longer leash. Like, think about Jack Leiter last year, right? And we're going to talk about Jack Leiter here in a little bit, but Jack Leiter was terrible in the minors last year. But because he's a first-round pick, you're going to get more leash and more leeway, right? So when you have a guy like Wenzel, though, Wenzel is definitely up there among the prospects, but he's not going to get as much leash as a Jack Leiter, not going to get as much chances. So you root for these guys to do well. But, 0 for 3 today. Wenzel, hopefully his next opportunity. I don't know how many more starts he's going to get before the Rangers start potentially making some roster moves, or maybe seeing if there's another guy down in AAA that can provide them a little bit more depth offensively. So we'll see. When Lowe comes back, though, I got to imagine Wenzel's probably on the way back down. I don't really know off the top of my head who else you would send down at this point. So I got to think Wenzel's probably on the way back down when Nate Lowe returns. And by the way, don't rush Nate Lowe back. I know a lot of people want to see him back. I know a lot of people want him back in the lineup ASAP, myself included, but don't rush him back. If he needs more time, that dude didn't get a spring training at all. We've kind of seen with Seager what happens when you don't get an extended spring training. It's not ideal, right? These guys are used to that. And I think it was a few years ago when they had the lockout, the CBA, where the guys didn't get their normal spring training. You can kind of tell there were a few guys that really started out slow, both on the Rangers and across the league. So for me, don't rush Nate Lowe. Give Nate Lowe as much time as he needs. I'd give him a week down there and just let him get back in the swing of things. Maybe after the Atlanta series, you bring him back. If he comes back for Atlanta, they think he's ready to go, bring it, man. That would be great. But as far as I'm concerned, let him continue to play things out. AA, I think he's with the AA squad right now. I don't think they're bouncing him up to the AAA. But maybe give him the Atlanta series in the minors, and then when the Rangers come back home next week, that's when you plug him in. I think that's probably ideal. Let me get to the comments here a little bit. I know I've been on my opening rant here for a while, but yeah, absolutely. Let's see. Yeah, I would say when Nate Lowe comes back, Jared Walsh could absolutely be a DH option. I wouldn't mind seeing that at all. And agreed, reps is really all that matters. Yeah, I can't see them rushing him back for Atlanta. There's really no reason to. It's interleague play. I don't think it would be wise to rush him back for that. Just let him come back in the lineup when the Rangers are back home. Give him a good old warm welcome. You know he's going to get a big ovation from that crowd when he comes back for the first time. That's what I would do too. Absolutely. Okay. Appreciate that information. Let me get this up on the screen here. So Lowe's going to get about 30 at bats. I appreciate this, by the way, bud. Thank you, because I'm not able to always watch all the Bochy interviews. I try to keep up with them, but they're going to get Nate Lowe about 30 at bats in the minors. So he's at 12 or so. You said, okay, great. He's at 12 or so. So that means you're talking about. I mean, like I told you, I'm not a math guy, but you're probably talking about at least what, 4 more games, probably 4 or 5 more, something like that. So Nate Lowe's still a little bit away, but next week, I think we could expect him back. I don't know completely what the schedule is for next week, but yeah, I think when they do get him back in the lineup, both defensively and offensively, it's going to be a big boost. Yes, Nate Lowe did have his struggles at the plate in the postseason last year, and also he had, he had a couple of dry spells that were pretty notable. But at the same time, I really think that he's going to provide a really, really good, solid boost for this team. So looking forward to Nate Lowe. Mike date I heard was the 23rd. Okay, so we're about 6 days out, like 5 6 days out. That makes sense. That's going to be fun. Nate Lowe is just a fun guy to have on a team. Really can't help but cheer for the guy, even when he's not going well. Just such a lovable guy, and I think he brings such a positive energy to the team. And I do think that's going to make a difference for the Rangers. I really do think that. So a couple other things. We'll keep on moving down. Let's go to some big moments in the game for those of us that maybe weren't able to watch everything. Let's go to some big moments in the game. So first of all, we had the Rangers jumping out to a 1-0 lead. It's always good when you can draw that first blood, especially in the first inning. Was really happy to see that. In fact, honestly, in the first inning, the Rangers should have scored more than the 1 run that they did. The first 3 runners got on base, right? The Rangers had bases loaded in the first inning. And this is what I mean, like the Rangers offense isn't completely hitting their stride yet, because you had bases loaded, nobody out, and all you can get is 1 run, right? Dolly had the sac fly and then a bunch of outs from there. When the bases are loaded with nobody out, I mean, it's just one of my huge pet peeves. It's just, you've got to manufacture 2 runs there. Right? You can get 2 outs and score 2 runs if you play it right, honestly. So the Rangers need to do a better job taking advantage, because those moments do come back to get you. This could have been a very lopsided game had the Rangers taken advantage of all of their opportunities. So this Rangers club still hasn't completely hit their stride yet. I'm looking forward to when they do. It's going to be really fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. And y'all know what I'm talking about. The Rangers last year, they would go through these streaks where they're just scoring 7 runs a game like clockwork. So I'm really looking forward to when the Rangers get back to that level. But the first inning, not quite there. Only get 1 run, loading the bases with nobody out. And the Rangers did go 1, 2, 3 a few times in this game, especially in the middle innings. So that 6th inning was kind of the big one. I'll tell you what, the wind was blowing in like crazy today, it seemed like. I know they were showing it on the broadcast, but there were several hits today. So maybe giving the Rangers a little bit of credit here. There were several hits today that were just off the bat, seemed like no doubters. Like Leote hit one to left center. Coming off his bat, I just thought that there's no way that is staying in the yard. Sure enough, could they catch it at the track? On Dolly's hit that they had to review, with no wind, the wind was blowing in from right field, right? With no wind, that is gone for sure. So I think the Rangers did miss out with some tough luck with the conditions today, with the elements. They easily could have had a couple home runs today, I think. So I'll give them a little bit of a break. I know that they probably hit the ball better than the box score shows. If you go back and look at the at-bats and you look at some of the drives that they had deep out in the outfield. A little windy today, so I think a couple guys probably ended up missing out on home runs. And Leote has made some outstanding defensive plays in this series, right? He had the one a couple nights ago. He had a great one today in the bottom of the fifth, running back to his left. Outstanding catch. So I've said for a long time with Leote, he's not going to obviously carry your offense, but if he could just play very solid defense, hit singles, productive outs when people are on base, that's really all you need for him. Really all you need for him. I agree. The Rangers' record really is not indicative of what their potential is. And it's easy to say that as a fan of the team, but I really do feel like with injuries, pitching staff, obviously injuries to the offense, it's definitely not showing what they're really capable of when you look and see that they're 10-9. Now, the Rangers have been fortunate. The AL West is not good right now. AL West has not been great, and it looks like as we look around the league here at the scores, Angels are tied 1-1. Was great to see the Rays end up walking off the Angels in, I think, 13 innings or something last night. So, look, the Angels would have taken first place had the Rays not been able to come back. Hopefully the Angels can lose again today to the Rays. But as we look at the standings, looks like these are updated, I believe. Rangers are a game up on Seattle currently. The Rangers are up a game on the Angels, 2 games up on the A's, and 4.5 up on the Stros. So, look, I agree. They could have a much bigger division lead right now. But when they get everybody back healthy, Scherzer, when they also get Josh Young back, which is still going to be a while, right? But when they get Josh Young back, think about when they get DeGrom back later in the summer. I mean, this is going to be a really fun team to watch middle of the summer when you're getting into those dog days. I really am excited to see this team at full strength. And really, if they can just stay competitive in the West, I think there may be some times where somebody dips up ahead of them, whether it's the Mariners, whether it's the Astros. Who knows if the Angels are going to be able to keep this up? They're 8-9 right now. I'm sure the Angels are going to fade at some point. Yeah, it's just what they always do, but just being real. But when this team really gets back healthy, it's going to be fun. And I think that really they just have not been playing well in general consistently this past 2 weeks. When they are going like they can, when this offense is clicking, this team, I think even without Josh Young in the pitching, can be a great, great ball club. So let's look at the matchup for tomorrow, and then we'll start wrapping things up. So tomorrow's another day game, 3 day games in a row. I know a few of my buddies were complaining like, man, I can't even keep up with 3 day games back to back to back. I mean, I think it's a little ridiculous too. I don't know what was going on in Detroit that they couldn't have a single night game after Monday night, but it is what it is. So Rangers will be hitting the road after the Thursday game, going to Atlanta. And it looks like tomorrow, Thursday, we've got Leiter and Maeda going for Detroit. So as we look at the preview, none of the Tigers obviously have faced Leiter making his MLB debut. That's going to be really fun to watch. I think in his last start, Leiter went 6 innings, 3 earned runs, 10 strikeouts. He did give up 3 solo home runs for those 3 runs, but I think generally he's been looking really, really good spring training and to start off his minor league season as well. Looks like there's a few guys that have seen Maeda on the Rangers. Garcia has hit in 286 and 7 at-bats. Heim is 2 for 3 off Maeda. Seager and Simeon both 1 for 3. Leote is 1 for 2. Walsh is 1 for 3. So there are a few guys that have seen Maeda before. So hopefully the Rangers, with their righty lineup, will be able to really have a big offensive day. That'd be nice to see a little 8-9 spot from the Rangers. It was good to see them get on the board early, have a big inning today. But I'd really like to see them give the bullpen some breathing room, right? They did today, to be fair, right? At 3 runs, bullpen should be able to always hold a 3-run lead. But at the same time, be nice to have that 5-6 run cushion. give this bullpen a little bit of breathing room. We're probably not going to have some guys available. I don't know if Yates is going to be able to pitch what that would be 3 games in 4 days for him, something like that. I don't know if they're going to do that. So the offense really, I think, needs to come out tomorrow, get out to a nice lead, because we'll probably have Leclerc available. I don't know if Robertson's going to be available, but it's probably going to be like Leclerc, maybe Urena, those guys potentially closing out a late game. So you want the offense to be clicking tomorrow if at all possible. Easier said than done, but I don't know if Yates and Robertson are going to be available tomorrow with a big series against the Braves coming up. I would assume that Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the Rangers are going to want to get their starters in there, maybe get a rest day for some guys tomorrow. So we'll see what the Rangers do with the lineup. I do agree that the Rangers are missing a dominant closer. That being said, let's see how Yates does. If he can keep up what he's doing right now, he's going to blow some saves. It just happens. I mean, he's going to blow some. So totally going to have some patience with him based on the start of the season that he's had. But I will say it's coming, right? He's not going to have a zero ERA the rest of the year. But if the Rangers were able to get that dominant live arm, a guy who can throw 101, 102, I do agree that would be very, very helpful. Just giving them even more depth, right? Because then you can have Yates be in that setup role, and then you've got that dominant closer that can take care of the ninth inning for you. I will say this. Let's talk about this last thing. You know, Josh Hader for the Astros got roughed up, 1 or 2 nights ago. Astros are paying him a ton of money right now. So obviously you want to be careful with that. You know, you're not going to be signing a guy. You're going to probably be trading for a guy at this point, which I think the Rangers will probably do middle of the season if they're going strong and the bullpen needs help. I wouldn't be shocked to see some kind of trade. But at this point, the Rangers, I don't think, are going to be investing big money in coming seasons into a bullpen arm. I think you're going to see them do some things that they did this past offseason. Look to get some veteran guys that are on affordable contracts like Yates, like Robertson, and see what you can do from there. See if you can squeeze what little they have left, because those guys are obviously up there in terms of baseball years, but they're savvy. They know how to pitch. And I think that's what the Rangers are probably going to continue to do. Of course, they have the homegrown talent. I'm sure that they're trying to bring up through the ranks in the minor leagues, but I'm okay with the Rangers not spending tens of millions like the Astros do on a closer. I don't think it's wise to do. If the Rangers would have done the Hader deal, I think I would have been excited. But I think in retrospect, you kind of see it was probably for the best that the Rangers didn't drop $100 million on Josh Hader. Just my opinion. Well, guys, Jack Leiter tomorrow. I'm really excited for that. Anytime a guy makes his major league debut and he's one of your first-round draft picks from within the past couple of years, it's so exciting. And I'm going to be really, really pumped to watch tomorrow's game. From what I will be able to watch, obviously I'll be at work during the game tomorrow, but hopefully during a couple of breaks I can get in on the MLB TV and check out Jack Leiter's debut. It's going to be fun. We'll probably try and get on about the same time tomorrow if I had to guess, and we'll talk all things Rangers baseball. Hopefully getting 3 out of 4 tomorrow against the Tigers. Hopefully getting back into that win column in the season series, right? I think the Rangers are 2-2-1 right now when it comes to series records. So hopefully we can win our 3rd series of the season, get on a flight to Atlanta, a happy flight to Atlanta, and go win some games against one of the National League's best teams. So hopefully we can come out strong tomorrow and we can get a big offensive day from the Rangers, take some pressure off Leiter in the bullpen. That would be the dream scenario. Appreciate all the comments, y'all. Thank you. I really appreciate everybody tuning in, taking the time. I don't take that for granted. You could be watching a ton of other stuff, Rangers-wise, but you're here with me. Appreciate talking it through with you guys. Mike, thanks for the comments, man, and I appreciate all the comments from everybody else too. We'll keep on going as much as we can after every Rangers game, talking through all of the big moments of each game, the box score, and all things Rangers baseball. And as we always say, guys, God bless and go Rangers. Hope y'all have a great rest of the Wednesday, and we'll see you tomorrow.